when I was at Michigan State, I was a telecommunication major and an English major, and telecom was cool because you got to take classes about films. Like, there was one class taught by the guy who wrote Top Gun and other such hits, Jim Cash. And we'd go in and watch movies, and the tests were really easy. And, of course, the degree from telecom was not employable in Michigan at the time I graduated. But I did land a nice clerk courier position. So, thank you, liberal arts degree. But anyways, I had another class called horror films, and that was pretty cool to go in. I'm not really into horror films anymore. They're just not that interesting to me, but at the time it was very interesting, and it was cool to go into a class and watch, like, The Exorcist or Evil Dead. I think he showed that one. The professor for that class had been the professor in Evil Dead, so had a bit part in that film. And Sam Raimi was the director. He went on to direct Spider-Man and things like that. And we would talk about symbolism in horror. And, of course, the main thing is about giving the audience something to focus all their free-floating anxiety upon and then have that destroyed. That was the thrill. That in everyday life, people are, usually caught up in their heads and feeling uncomfortable a lot of the times about their life situation. And so if you have a monster or some kind of entity to put all that anxiety upon and then have it destroyed, because, 99% of horror films, the monster is destroyed eventually at the end. So that can give people kind of symbolic release from their free-floating anxiety. But I've noticed in recent years, zombies are really, really popular, like films and now television references and advertising all over the internet, people talking about them, zombie jokes and zombie references, and just zombies are the it monster, if you will. And I believe that each kind of monster has its own inherent symbolism. And people might say, oh, vampires are really popular, and it's like, no, not like they were in the 90s, where there was a lot of different vampire films coming out, even the 80s too. It's just Twilight's popular, that's all. But zombies, all kinds of zombie stuff is going on. And I think the symbolism of zombies is about people that are overly socialized or numbed out or just going through the motions. And I think that, with all the different information sources that we have access to through internet and cable television and so forth, it is really easy to check out. And sometimes, it's good to check out from the world for a bit. And, if it comes at the expense of your relationships or your work, or finding meaningful relationships or meaningful work, or developing yourself more deeply and working on your stuff, then it can be a problem. So I think that zombies and their current popularity are related to this fear, this unconscious fear that people have, in which this is what society is about. People are just kind of going through the motions and getting up and going to work, and then on the weekends they do their little activities, and then they go back and they do it all over again, kind of like, just a zombified kind of lifestyle. And so the symbolism of destroying the zombies, I think, is about destroying that kind of numbness and rote way of living, because we sense, I think, on a deeper level that we can live a more fulfilling and alive kind of life, not through our doing of different things and, doing interesting things, but just through a deeper sense of presence in which we feel alive because our mind is at peace and we have fulfilling relationships in our life, Or if we don't, we are fulfilled with the relationship that matters the most, with ourself and with our mind. So those are my thoughts on zombies.